President Zelensky, as I mentioned, has said that this is an important visit for his approaching victory. Tell us a bit more about who he'll be meeting and what messages he'll be trying to send.
So President Zelensky has landed at Ciampino Airport here in Rome about an hour ago and was greeted by Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani. Now, the details of his agenda for the day have not been made public because of security reasons. In fact, there are more than 1,000 security officers being deployed in Rome at the moment. President Zelensky has tweeted that he will be meeting with his counterpart, Italian President Sergio Mattarella, and after that with the Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Now, that's not the first time that the two leaders meet. Meloni travelled to Kyiv back in February to show Italy's continuous support for Ukraine. Now, after those two political meetings, President Zelensky will come here right behind me in St. Peter's Square, where he will have a private audience with Pope Francis.
And tell us more about the role that Pope Francis is playing in trying to mediate between Russia and Ukraine, because in recent weeks he has talked rather cryptically about what he called a mission going on now but is not public yet to bring peace. What is the Pope trying to do when it comes to having meetings with Russia and Ukraine?
So Pope Francis has called for peace in Ukraine many times. He says that he prays for the victims of the conflict every week. And he has been invited to Kyiv on several occasions, but has always said that he'll only go to Kyiv if he can also visit Moscow. Now, Pope Francis cannot enforce peace. He's not a political leader, but what he can do is influence these sort of things and he could have a very important role when it comes, as you mentioned, to mediating dialogue between leaders that don't often see eye to
Sophia,
eye.
But,
several popes.
Sorry, Sophia, just to mention that we are now seeing President Zelensky emerge from his car there, and he is greeting Italian leaders. Of course, as you say, he is here to meet the leadership there. We can see President Mattarella, who has extended that hand of greeting. And now, of course, there is a guard of honor there making a salute. So that's President Zelensky arriving in Rome to have those meetings with Italy's president and prime minister, and, as you were saying as well, the Pope. So sorry to interrupt you there, Sophia, but I just wanted us to catch that moment. But please do continue, because you were talking about the importance of the meetings that he is going to have.
That's right. So that meeting that you just mentioned with President Mattarella is probably going to be a private meeting. And after that, President Zelensky will be here to meet Pope Francis. Now, you were mentioning a mission. So what happened, interestingly, here in Rome a few weeks ago is that Ukraine's Prime Minister visited the Pope and asked for his help with repatriating Ukrainian children who had been forcibly sent to Russia. And the Pope said he wanted to do everything that he can to help, and he also said that there's a mission underway when it comes to that, but he couldn't give any details for the time being. So there's a lot of speculation in Italy today that when Pope Francis meets President Zelensky here, the two of them will discuss this mission.
And he's going to, as we say, be meeting with the government. We can see him there standing with President Mattarella. He'll be meeting Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni as well. It's expected that he will renew calls for Italian military support, especially anti-aircraft weapons. But let's listen in a little bit to some of the ceremony that is going on. Sophia, if we've still got you with us, just on that point of the fact that President Zelensky is going to likely ask for more support, specifically military support. I mean, one of the lines that came out today was Germany offering $3 billion in terms of support. But what is the appetite in Italy for providing more concrete support of that nature?
You're right. President Zelensky has repeatedly pleaded for more weapons from the West. We saw just a few days ago the UK agreeing to send long-range missiles to Ukraine. And then, of course, you've got Germany, the US, the UK all sending tanks to Ukraine. Now, Italy has also been sending weapons and money to support President Zelensky. And in a recent BBC interview, he said that Western sanctions to Russia are working, especially when it comes to Russia's defense operation. But of course, as you mentioned, there isn't a huge appetite here from lots of political leaders. You've got, for example, Silvio Berlusconi, who's the leader of a centre-right party that's currently in government, who has very strong ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He's even said a few weeks ago that if given the opportunity, he would not want to meet President Zelensky because he feels that he is to blame for the war. So, of course, today a very tough balancing act diplomatically for Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who instead has been very vocal in showing her support, her continuous support for President Zelensky.
All right, Sophia, we'll leave it there for now. But thank you very much, Sophia Betitsa, reporting from Rome on President Zelensky's first trip to Italy since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And good to see those pictures there of him arriving.